Hello and welcome to an episode of The Grafter Show. Okay, so before I get into the episode, I wanted to give a shout out to Mazzotti. So that classical music that you just heard at the beginning of the episode, and in fact that you're hearing right now, was actually automatically generated using a computer algorithm. Now it's a pretty cool thing that was created by an ex-colleague of mine and friend, Jeremy Leach. Be sure to check it out at mazzotti.com. It's a completely free online tool. You can actually use it to create your own tunes. It's got a very easy to use interface. So if you're into that type of stuff, be sure to check it out. The same way I've used the clip at the beginning of this episode, you can use it in your own creations as well. And the next thing I wanted to shout out before getting into this episode was my own upcoming business, Stack 45. If you're into weightlifting of any sort, whether that's on a casual basis or maybe on a more serious bodybuilding or powerlifting basis, then you might want to invest in some good gear. And that's exactly why I started Stack 45. So I personally found that whenever I was using gear such as lifting belts or wrist wraps, they would end up breaking or ripping or just getting damaged through what I would consider pretty normal wear and tear. And this was just within weeks of getting the items. So that drove me to create my own range of gear, which is high quality and would last me a while, and also just look nice. So I was kind of getting bored of the gear, just looking all drab grey and blacks, and just looking boring really. So Stack 45 will launch with wrist wraps, lifting grips or hooks, lifting belts and knee sleeves. And I've personally designed all of the products and created the specifications for these so I can really vouch for them. Not only that, I've been using the first batch for probably about 2 or 3 months now, before the upcoming launch. So I can really vouch for the quality of the products as well. All the links will be in the episode description below, or you can go directly to stack45.com for more information. Okay, now let's get into the episode. It was a pleasure sitting down with Hui and Stuart, founders of Koala at WeWork's offices in Aldgate East, London. So Koala is a travel tech startup which is pretty unique and rare. They're looking to empower travelers with unique experiences using tech, and we get into more of what they do and what that is and how they do it in the episode. It was definitely a really fun episode for me to record, and I hope you find it useful too. It's especially useful if you want to get an insight into what it's like to create your own startup, the experiences that you have running your own startup and getting it off the ground. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Okay, so hello and welcome to an episode of The Grafter Show. I'm joined here with some of the founders of Koala, and I'm actually gonna...
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. I'm gonna let you guys get into it and just introduce yourselves. I've got some questions that I really want to ask you guys, but I'd like you to introduce yourselves first, so all of our listeners know who you are and what you're doing here.
Do you want to go first?
Ladies
I'll go
first,
first.
ladies
Oh,
first.
it's very polite of you. Hi, everyone. My name is Hui. I'm the founder of Koala. Koala was founded about a year and a half ago, just under a year and a half ago.
Shit.
It's been a while. And here with me is Stuart, my co-founder.
Yeah, I'm Stuart McGarry, co-founder, as said, of the company. Yeah, it's been 18 months now we've been going. God, a long time now.
Wow.
Sinking in. Yeah.
What have you been doing over that time then?
God, fuck, we've been doing a lot. Building tech, doing trips. How many trips we've done now? 7 trips, I think. All sold out, which is nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, building up our experiences, platforms, chicken wings, dumplings, everything. And yeah, building a tech product, which takes a long time, but we have a great team.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's start from the very beginning then. What is it that you actually try to build, and what does Koala actually do?
Okay, very good question. What does Koala actually do? I guess initially when I started Koala by myself, it was just basically I wanted to create this app where people can kind of join and go on trips together. And I joined this co-working space called Launch 22, where I met Stuart, who was my business mentor at the time. And he was like, well, have you thought about the business side of this? Like, no, I haven't. So yeah, I guess initially it was just meant to be an app and that's it. But Stuart asked a very good question. There has to be a business side to it. So what we're fundamentally trying to do is to empower travelers with sorry, what this empowered.
Is this the first time you've done this?
I know, it's not the first time I've done this.
What happened to the PR exercise?
No, I've done podcast this morning. It was okay. So we're just trying to empower travelers using technology, basically. We curate unique trips and experiences for solo travelers around the world. predominantly young professionals, so people in the IT sector, startups, the creatives, fashion, you name it.
Usually in their 20s or 30s, we sort of consider. So
Yes.
we're trying to make it cool again for the disillusioned TripAdvisor generation, we like to call them. Yeah. TripAdvisor's great, by the way, if you're a mum of 3 in your 40s. Yeah, that's what we think. Yeah.
So, interestingly, you've decided to actually build your own app. And where did you guys start with that? How do you actually decide, okay, I'm going to build an app? What do I need for that? How do I go about it? How much money do I need? Where did you guys start?
Shit, well, yeah, we're lucky in the sense that Hui had been travelling and come up with the idea and is from a technical background. So that was, God, I suppose you could describe it as like a passion project,
Yes.
to be honest.
Yeah.
So we were lucky in that sense, we weren't paying anyone or things like that. And then when we met and started building the relationship, got about a year ago now, it was, okay, how do we turn this good idea into a business and make it viable? Which is many things need to be considered when you're doing that. But yeah, we're lucky our core skills have allowed for the business to flourish and be what it is now, essentially.
So do you provide the end-to-end, so to speak, for Traveller? Is that...
Yes, so at the minute we come up with the themes for the trips, we organise the trips, and we get people to come on the trips. We provide the whole service, like you said,
and
end-to-end
all of that
service.
is powered through the app that you guys are creating.
So at the minute we have a website.
Okay.
It's not a native app yet, which we're planning to build. At the very early stage, when I first approached Stuart, the idea was to have an app, but we've decided to create a website first, a responsive website, just because it's easier when it comes to social platforms like Facebook and Instagram to share that. But it's very much in our plan to build a fully functioning native app in the near future.
So you actually mentioned social media before. I was going to get into that.
Oh no,
that's actually an
area. Bread and butter.
I've been taking a lot of interest in that, mainly because I've been listening to a lot of Gary Vee recently, and if you guys have listened to any of him, he goes on about social media marketing a lot. I'm just curious, is that something that you guys have thought about? Is that something you guys are looking into?
Yeah, well, to be honest, when I first started the business, Stuart actually said to me, do you have an Instagram account?
Yeah,
no.
shit, you didn't even
I've never even touched Instagram.
Insta what?
Yeah, exactly. I guess I'm quite a private person, but then Stuart rightly so was like, I think nowadays you want to build a consumer marketing to get into the social media side. So I've had to do a lot of kind of learning and reading on it. So yeah, we do have an Instagram account for the business, and obviously Facebook, Twitter and all that, which I think is really important for what we do, because we're a consumer facing business and people need to know what we're doing, and don't really want to admit to it, but it's just people like to see visual things like videos, photos, and they want to see people having a good time, see nice photos, see what you're up to, and that's kind of how you convince people these days.
Community is at the heart of what we do.
Yeah.
So social media marketing, I think, can be it's not as easy as people think, and the key is to make good content, and then people come to you if you have the right hashtags, use the right platforms. So we're all about building a community, and that's core to what we're doing. We don't pay models and influencers like some other people would. We're all about the people. So social media is great for that.
Got it.
Fantastic.
So do you actually manage all of that stuff yourselves, or have you got people in the team?
We use one thing called Buffer, and it is Buffer, isn't
Buffer,
it?
yeah.
It's like a scheduling tool.
Okay.
But everything's we post. That's just because we have 5 different social media accounts, essentially, Twitter, Facebook, Insta, all that. So that just keeps consistency. But yeah, everything you see, we have either created, researched, posted. But yeah, I would recommend the social media scheduling tool, especially for things like content and podcasts and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as founders, so social media stuff is probably just one of the many, many, many things that you guys do on a daily basis.
No, not at all. We just have afternoon tea every day, and that's it.
Sounds like a good life.
Yeah, to be fair, we go on holiday for a living. It's not a bad job. Yeah, it's not a bad job.
Well, let's dive into some of the other responsibilities that you guys have as founders. Maybe stuff that a lot of people don't realize, and the stuff that you do. So, what does like an average day look like for you guys? You wake up in the morning, and talk us through your day. And
shit, for us, it's you jump in, but yeah, you probably aren't going to like this answer, but we essentially work 10 to 10 is our working day, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And that's mainly because nighttime events are very important. I actually believe it's one of the most underrated things for startups. Building those relationships, going to events, meeting other startups, building partnerships, communities. Our day-to-day, we have a team as well of people, working with us. So you've got a lot of management and innovation, and it's a hard slog, to be honest. Everything we do, even selling holidays, finances, everything you can possibly imagine falls with us. So we're very lucky we have each other, and we bounce off each other and have different tasks. But yeah, no day is the same.
No, it's not. I guess in terms of the tasks, it can be anything from like customer service to social media, marketing, even goes down to things like call base for the website. What's the right content and so we also have in-house developers, so obviously kind of talking them through what we should do next phase, and obviously it's a small team, so we work quite closely together. So every decision we make as a team. So as you can imagine, you get lots of kind of questions thrown around on a daily basis. So yeah, all sorts really. But it's exciting.
So you mentioned just around the in-house development team that you guys have. Was there any point where you guys actually thought, oh, maybe it's best that we just handle the business side and maybe we just outsource the tech stuff?
Well,
how did you guys?
I'll answer that because one, we have the capabilities, even in our founding team, to build good products. My first venture when I was 19, that's a long time ago. I had a bit of cash, and I outsourced it and paid a development company a lot of money to build a site for me. So I think one of the first things we talked about when we met was, if you can keep it in-house or pay someone freelance or, keep control of it, don't outsource it. So to answer you directly, no, I never wanted to pay other people to build our platform, but we were then also lucky that we had those capabilities. But even if you're not techie, the Squarespace and Wix and all those platforms these days, like even Shopify, you can build a marketplace business through Shopify and make it look tailored, So even if you're not techie, I don't see a lot of reasons to outsource these days.
I think it really depends on what your business is trying to do. I think if you're working kind of high-tech product where you can't necessarily afford to have in-house team in and want to kind of do the proof of concept work and maybe outsource it to someone might make sense. But I think for what we're trying to do, like Stuart said, because it's consumer facing, our phase one of the website was using Wix, which did the job at the time. And then I guess the second phase of work was migrating from Wix to our own platform when we had in-house developer. And I guess from my personal experience, having worked in e-commerce for quite a while now, I think it's again better to keep everything in-house if possible, just because outsourcing, there's always going to be communication issues. I think especially at the early stage of a company, if you can keep the communication within the company, it's much better, rather than bouncing back forth with emails and people misread your ideas and then they build something completely different, which I know happens.
Yeah, I remember getting an invoice from an IT company and I wanted to change 2 paragraphs on the site they'd built. And they were invoicing me something like £500 just to change those 2 sentences.
Really?
So that's their business model. They control the product, which is fine. So yeah, if you're ever paying someone else to do it, make sure and get a CRM system on the back that you can actually change all the text and shit like that. Yeah, I remember that. It was fucking
wow.
500 points for 2 lines of text.
I'll do it for half the price.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Don't worry, I don't fucking pay it.
I'll do it for one of the price.
So you actually mentioned, you're using like a platform like Wix, but then you came to a point where you decided actually it's now the right time to bring it in-house. What was that tipping point? Like, what was the main factors that actually made you decide, all right, now is the right time for us to actually bring this in-house and focus internally to develop our website?
I think from day one, even when I had the first mentoring session with Stuart, I always said I want this to be a tech company. I know there's travel elements to it because we both like travel, and I fundamentally believe in we're trying to do brings value to people, but very much want the focus to be on tech. So it's always been about the tech side of things, but I think when you're kind of early stage, when you don't have tons of money, it's good to get something quickly out there to see how people respond to it. And I think there's probably no point in building this great tech product that no one's going to use. So you want to make sure that you get some traction, that people are interested in your idea, they like what you build, and then once we've had that, I think it was a natural progression. We're like, okay, let's migrate everything to our own platform and build upon that, because we both have good ideas where we want to, the whole team has good ideas where we want to input into our technology, and things like the matching algorithm we're trying to develop, the concierge service. There's no way you can do any of that on Shopify or Wix. So I think, if you want to build a proper tech product, you need to have a team. That's just how it is, really.
So I'm guessing you started with maybe just one developer at some point?
It was just me building the website.
Just someone else.
Is there any nerves involved there?
No, I think I've always enjoyed building websites and things like that anyway. I mean, I think you probably know my background's automation engineer, even though my main focus was in automation testing, but I've always wanted to design and build things. So, I've done it before, but I think it's just a bit different when you're doing it for your own business. No, I guess there's a lot of kind of trial and error. I guess early stage was me building the website, and I get Stuart to have a look, and he'll be like, yeah, that's shit, change that, or that's okay.
Makes me sound like a dick. I'd say it was a feedback loop.
Customer feedback, right?
Yes. Yeah,
so then how did you go from there to probably doing your first tech hire and eventually growing the team? What was that? What did that process?
We've been very lucky. We are a rare startup that actually likes to make money. Not a lot of people do that with startups. So we put a bit of capital in ourselves and bootstrapped it, but ultimately we provide services like our experiences, like chicken wing tour and dumpling tour. And we done that from the start. We've done trips from the start to actually make money. So we're in a very lucky position where we don't have to wait 2 years until we can hire and expand. We're making money sort of from day one. So we were able to we didn't see it as a risk. It was natural progression then to bring in people to support and help grow. So that, then we hired, obviously, a developer to come in and support and help. But we made sure that we had the fundamentals there of the business and we were making money. And I can't recommend highly enough people setting up businesses that actually make money.
I think that's always the dream.
A lot of people in the tech community in particular just want to build a good tech product, get some users, and then they think they'll get venture capital funding and expand, but they don't realise they get bad terms on their venture capital funding. They don't know what they're doing. The VCs do. So we're lucky. We're both a bit older. We're both 29. So
I'm 30.
30 now. Starting a business, we're kind of nearly experienced pros in tech land, to be honest. We've been working for about 10 years, nearly in the industry, so we were able to set up and do things that maybe a 22-year-old straight out of uni wouldn't know to do.
Yeah, you're making me feel old now.
No, not
anyway,
sure.
Swiftly moving on from that topic. So obviously now you're actually working in, are we allowed to say location? Is that fine?
We work.
Yes.
Yeah, we work in Aldgate East.
We work Aldgate Towers, fantastic. Guys. Yeah. Hashtag ad.
Did they give you any discount on your rates?
Fuck the better. I'm sending them this after.
50% discount, mentioning their name.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
At what point did you guys decide that right now we need some office space, and what did that look like? I don't know where you guys were before, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it was you were just working from home or working from coffee shops, so then at some point you needed an actual office space. What did that look like?
Well, to be honest, at the time when Stuart come on board with me, I was still working part-time at a company, so it was very much from the get-go we would work in a co-working space or in an office. I personally can't work from home, but that's just me. I think Stuart might be a bit better at it than I am. We're always going to be saying, like, let's find an office, a co-working space. I think co-working space probably makes more sense for early stage startup.
Yeah, it's good to have the community. Don't be by yourself, sitting in your house. It's fucking miserable.
100%. Yeah,
honestly, it was when we decided to go full-time, we got the office full-time nearly. Because again, we had the mentor type relationship for nearly a year, building the company sort of slowly, while I owned another company and I was still working. And then that went to sort of part-time to, because I'd never planned actually on, I wasn't Hui's mentor just so I could join the company one day. We never planned that. It just happened naturally after got about a year.
Yeah.
And then it was once I left my old company to come to Koala, and Hui left her job, that was when we said, okay, let's do it properly, put some cash in that we'd saved up, put some, money on office, bring in some staff, and actually run it full time. But we'd done the hard yards, kind of to get it there. We'd done all the branding, we built the relationships. The website looked just as good as it does now when we started, type thing.
So I guess at that point you already had some cash coming into the money, so that into the company, so therefore you could fund that move of moving.
Well, one of the advantages of waiting later in life, and I recommend it to everyone, is save up as much cash as you can. At a minimum, have at least a year worth of funds to live off. And then, if you can do it yourself and bootstrap it, kind of like we have, do it.
So what did that process look like for you guys mentally? Because I guess going from probably something that you're very comfortable with, whether it's working in a full-time job or having your own business, and then going into almost the complete unknown, how did you process that on a personal and mental level?
Well, for me, slightly different because it leads into you. I've been doing this for like 10 years now, and I did have a stint in corporate land. I'd done like Deloitte PwC consultant for a few years, but I can't do anything else. So this is normal for me.
Fair
and
enough.
it was only in July. I was surprised when I suggested, I come on board and things like that. So it's always actually felt comfortable and natural to do it. And I think having good co-founders, that stops you having any worry, And I say that because I remember how worried you were initially, because entrepreneurship was just alien. And you never really expected to do it. And then I think that was my job, to be like, nah, fuck, you're great, let's do this. And then that developed naturally to, like, the day you left your job, you were excited to leave, I remember. It wasn't nervous. Yeah.
No, to be very honest, at first I was shitting myself. I must admit, I was. Excuse the language. But then, I guess the second.
Actually, I need to look into that.
No, you're allowed to
iTunes.
swear,
no, I think iTunes you have to add a
Really?
little tag onto your.
Sorry, guys.
Don't worry, no, it's
Sorry,
fine.
just
Either-
push it out.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to stop swearing.
Listeners are either going to hear a lot of bleeps or it'll
Wait.
have a explicit tag on the episode.
Hopefully my
that's
grandma's
Anyway,
not
we'll carry on.
Yeah, and I guess the second feeling came along with was excitement. I don't know. I think like at a certain stage in your life, you just want to kind of do something that you're really passionate about. You want to give it a go, and I think I've worked for a lot of great companies, and I've learned a lot from it. So I would, I really want to kind of, I guess, use what I've learned and pursuing something I'm passionate in. It was a mixture of nervousness and excitement. BS was a bit scary.
So, okay. Where are you guys now then? So, how long has it been now since you left your job?
Left late August last year.
Yeah,
Something about 6 months. to be
I
honest.
consider we only started full-time in August.
Yes, properly in August.
Fuck,
So
that doesn't feel that long.
6 months. Yeah,
It doesn't,
been
especially
doing
when
it
you
properly.
factor in like Christmas period and
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
I know.
I
Wow.
know, crazy.
Yeah, we're smashing it, expanding
Yeah.
quickly. Customers are expanding. We're building something big here, so we're unashamedly quick and rapid, and we love that people seem to love what we're doing. And taking it from there. It feels like a blur, all the stuff we've done, and we're very lucky now. We're attracting good attention and good press, and we get more inbound and outbound type of, working with people and partnerships, and it really feels like we're building something special very quickly.
So where do you want to take it? You've got to this point where things are looking great, things are probably churning quite well. I imagine hopefully cash flow is all good as well. Where do you want to then take it? Do you kind of see yourselves in this same mode of working for a little bit longer, and then maybe, I don't know, you want to buy your own office block or something? I don't know. I don't know what your next
Definitely
steps are,
want to have my own office block with dogs, hopefully, at some point. I think we're expanding really nicely. We do have a couple of exciting plans in the pipeline. One of our most popular services is London-based experiences. So we've got a chicken wings experience and dumplings experience, but we've got 5 more experiences along the way, and they're all really exciting, really unique, and I think the tourists are going to love them. And I've got more trips planned as well for the year. And yeah, I guess it's just really kind of exciting to see customers loving our products, and we see a lot of returning customers as well. Want to come to our experiences as well as trips, and as well as that we're expanding to like content, so we get people to write city guides and articles, and they're actually really proven to be really useful for travelers. So anything we can do to help travelers around the world, really, we want to kind of get our
and it's global. Yeah, we're not just sitting here in London twiddling our thumbs. We're building a global company, and the market deserves it. We'll give it to them.
So how are you actually going out and building these kind of tours, I guess, in other countries? Because obviously right now you're London-based, but I'm sure you guys have plans for all sorts of different territories globally. How does that process? Do you go and do a little bit of an adventure first yourselves and scope out the place?
We're exploring it. We're working in cities after London that are very similar to London. So what we're doing in London is very adaptable. It's just about having the right people then on the ground to help. But we're a very creative bunch. Everything we come up with, we've came up with in-house. And it's with a view that it can be adaptable to hundreds of cities around the world. So, it would nearly even remind you of how Uber and Deliveroo expands, around the world. You're getting local sort of freelance casual people to help you out and run the experiences. So for us, it might be uni kids, doing theatre degrees, for example, that want to be actors. They're great for hosting our tours. They need a little extra cash. We're helping them out. They're helping us out. And if any of them obviously want to come and work with us after, it's a good way into the company as well. So as long as the demand's there, we'll fill it. And thankfully it's there.
Good stuff. So one topic that I actually really wanted to touch on is probably just around the perception of your family and friends around you, especially maybe when you were first starting out Koala. And the reason why is when I've spoken to other people starting their own businesses, a lot of the negative feedback that they get is often by those closest around them. So I'm just wondering, did you guys experience anything like that, or were your friends and family kind of very supportive of your idea? Or if you did face that sort of feedback, what did you guys do to get around that, or how did you navigate through that?
I'll jump that first because I've been doing it a lot longer.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I wanted the approval of my family, and that was my mistake. Your family don't need to be. Your family are amazing, but this is such a unique process. Your friends and family will never understand running a business unless they've done it. And the day and hour you as an entrepreneur need their approval, you're fucked. Like stop it. Quite frankly. Once you realise that, because I didn't realise it with my first one, and I had a good example, my dad was a good sort of businessman and things like that, and I did want their approval, but that was because I was too young and stupid, to be honest. And once you let go of that, and they don't have to be your biggest fans, they don't have to know your business inside out, they don't have to know what you do on a daily basis, but they'll still love and support you. And I love calling my family and talking about everything else but my business. I love calling them and hearing about Barbara down the road and what her house looks like, or like stuff like that. So to sort of answer directly and indirectly, I think never expect your family to know, but then that means if you don't expect that and they do know and they do understand and they take an interest, it means so much more to you. We're sitting here recording a podcast now, and if I send that out to my family, they'll listen to it and they'll say, sure, brilliant. They don't care too much about the content, but they just want to support you and things like that. Yeah. And when I first started, it was like I needed them to know what I'm doing at all times and understand and take an interest and be the centre of their universe. And that's just unrealistic. It's stupid, quite frankly. So whether it's your partner, whether it's your brother, sisters or cousins or whatever, if you tell them it's important and you need them, so I don't know, say you're doing a crowdfunding campaign and you need them all to give you 20 quid for a crowdfunding campaign, they'll usually respond if you tell them it's important, but don't expect them to. I used to work at a fashion marketplace, and at one stage you're kind of thinking, I want all them to buy products and do it, but that's not their job. So use their support in that regard, and at the end of the day, I think everyone, if they're stuck or they need something, they're there. You know, I'm very lucky. I have parents that, you know, if I'm ever financially in trouble or anything like that, you pick up the phone and they're there for you. And I think that's what matters, not the understanding of the business or
Sure.
them being customers or even understanding what you do as a daily basis, you know.
To be fair, I don't think my parents really know what
Yeah.
I do, and I work in a full-time job, so
Yeah.
understandable.
But yeah, I say all that because I used to need them to understand and want them to understand. And that was just young and nearly insecure. You're trying to get their approval, strangely. So yeah, I think we talked about that a lot at the start. You don't need your friends and family to understand. It's as long as we understand and we know what we're doing, and our team believes in us, and our investors and our community of people. That's what's important. And then I think that's very freeing. Like, my family are great at supporting me. We don't talk about business. They're just, you know, nice at supporting
Just
me.
nice people.
Well, my sister's pregnant at the minute, and one of my favourite things is seeing, you know,
Congratulations.
all the baby pictures, and
Oh,
everyone's excited about the baby and talking about it. No one's talking about my work. I don't want to talk about my work. You know, I want to hear about the baby and cool shit. I can buy it, and, you know, fun things like that. So it's, if you use your family right, it's a good escape. You know, when I go back to Belfast, I don't like to talk about work too much. You know, I want to talk about the mundane, stupid things, or politics, or, you know, life. So yeah. Same with partners and things like that. You know.
Is that similar with yourself, Hui?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my mom still knows what I'm doing, to be honest. My dad does, and he is quite supportive, to be fair. But no, like, similar to what Stuart was saying, you know, just don't expect getting that kind of support. I think I'm quite unlucky because I've had a good mentor who's now my business partner, and I guess when I initially started this journey, Stuart still is very supportive. So I think as long as there's, you know, at least one person out there you can talk to about this kind of things, it's good, because it is a very lonely journey to be an entrepreneur. I think I can say that for the both of us. And if you find, you know, one person you can bounce off kind of ideas with and stuff, that does help. But don't expect everyone else around you to understand what you're going through, and you know, but yeah.
So with your friends and family, how do you actually balance your time? Because earlier, Stuart, you mentioned this is very much a 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. type of job. So, you know,
you don't is the honest answer. You have to have a very understanding, you know, partner who gets it. You have to have to be honest, it suits me. I don't know about you, but it suits me that I don't live in the same country as my family. And I love them and miss them. And when I go home, I spend quality time with them, but I maybe see them 3-4 times a year. So if you're, I don't know, say you're London based and your granny and granda and all your family are also in London and you have a wife and kids and things, it's a lot more pressure than we, in a strange way. This is our whole life sometimes. And I think that actually helps, you know, not having, because then you don't feel as guilty. You know, you can still pick up the phone and catch up, but it takes the pressure off actually not being in that same location. But yeah, honest answer is you don't balance it. You know, there's a good quote: you live your life a certain way for a few years so you can live the rest of your life like no one else can, you know. And we're doing what we do for that long-term freedom, and for that we can't do anything else. It's in the DNA, you know. So sacrifices have to be made, and unfortunately, if your friends and family don't get that, they usually disappear quite quickly. I'm very lucky. My 3-4 best friends I've known for 10 years plus, so they know I'm always like this. And again, they live in different cities and things like that. But,
a bit of a recurring theme here, right?
Yeah, you need understanding and a bit of loyalty. I think that's my opinion on it. I don't know.
I think I guess to add on to that, I think it is important to try to find a work-life balance, even though obviously it's never going to be fully balanced. But I think, you know, having 2-3 people you can talk to, I guess just life in general, I think that's important.
Sport as well, actually.
Yes.
We both have sport we do the outside, you know, and that helps, I think, rest of mind.
Yes, exercise. I've taken the taekwondo classes.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm doing my first exam in a week and a bit.
Yeah.
Well,
Gonna do my yellow belt. Yes.
Wow.
No, yeah, I guess it's important to exercise physically, I guess, as well as mentally as well. I guess just try to build that resilience around you. Because when you're in business, you're gonna get to know a lot of times, and you know things are gonna go wrong at some point. They go well, and then it's up and down. So I think it's important to build that resilience within you, probably more important than people realize.
Yeah.
But I think having worked in a professional environment for a few years, that helps, because you learn to deal with people, you learn to deal with certain situations, and obviously having your own business is completely different. But yeah, I guess build that resilience within you. That's important.
So do you actually find your taekwondo classes actually help that? Because I guess there's a lot of technique to it. There's a lot of practice as well involved. There's probably a lot of mental resilience involved within the classes. Do you actually find that kind of supplements working in the startup?
I think physical exercise definitely does help. I think a lot of it has to come within yourself as well. I mean, whatever works for you, whether it's yoga or meditation. I'm not saying everyone has to take taekwondo classes.
Endorsed by Koala.
Yes, please don't take that. But yeah, whether it's meditation, yoga, I know Stuart plays rugby and football, whatever works for you really. But it's important to do something to kind of help you as a person.
Okay, good stuff. We're probably going to be wrapping up soon, but I did want to...
Yeah, is everyone still listening?
Anyone out there still?
Yeah.
I actually just wanted to finish up on what would be the top 1 or 2 bits of advice that you would give people who are looking to start their own business. And it could be around anything to do with business, around maybe how they should structure their lives, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What would be the maybe 1 or 2 key pointers that if you would rewind, that's bits of advice that you would absolutely follow yourselves?
Yeah, I think patience is key. I used to set all these insane boundaries on myself, seeing these young American billionaires and say I have to be like them. Blah, blah, blah.
Which one?
Bill Gates. And I was like, he dropped out of uni. He done this because I dropped out of uni with my first venture. But practically, I think I always say to people, save up a year, 18 months wages to live off. Surround yourself with positivity and support. Resilience is the most important thing to this. For every victory, there's 3 steps back. So not taking no for an answer, never giving up is key. Having that sort of backup, and there's government support out there as well. You can essentially get the equivalent of job seekers allowance for a year for running a company. So, if you've got a bit of savings, you've got that money coming in. Also, if you're in a good, secure, full-time job, set up the business first on the side. Yeah. Build it up, get some traction. Don't just leave one day because you think you want to be an entrepreneur. Usually the people who think they want to be entrepreneurs and like the lifestyle don't have the stones to run the business. It's a fucking hard slog. Like, you have to leave any standard you have at the door, because you're doing everything. You are doing admin, you're doing customer service, you're cleaning the office if you have to, and you're also doing all the important entrepreneur type things. But yeah, too many people like the idea of being an entrepreneur and not actually having the stones to back it up. But yeah, a lot of people say do it when you're young and don't have a family and all that, and I disagree with that. That's actually a good time to do it when you've a partner and kids that make you happy and smile, and it motivates you more to do it, to get that hustle. So yeah, I think I said a few things there, but my key is setting the framework and infrastructure in place. You can pretty much set yourself up to live off £1,000-1,500 a month if you have to. Mortgage payments, house, whatever. And then that frees you up to actually build a good company and not focus on making money. And you can tell after a year, 18 months, if it's going to work. And like I say, there's government support out there, there's startup loans, there's business angels, things like that. But educating yourself, reading, I think that's key, and making it your whole life and getting addicted to it to the extent you can't sleep at night, you want to do things. That's when you know you're on the right thing. And that's what it takes to be in that top 1% of people who actually make it.
I guess my practical piece of advice would be get yourself a business mentor. And that's how I started. It's worked out pretty well for me, I think. But yeah, I think especially for people without much business experience, I think it's good to find someone who's more experienced. You can learn a lot from that, and also just having someone to talk to whenever you're not sure about something, and like a mentor, or that'd be my advice.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time.
Thank you.
Where can people find out more about yourselves and the company?
So our website is koalago.co and our Instagram handle is koala.go. So,
Yeah,
Cool.
so hit us up, subscribe.
I will be sure to add all of that to the show notes so people can easily find
Cheers,
the
it's been a
links.
pleasure.
No, thank you both
Chaps.
so much. Thank you.
Cheers,
Thanks.
thanks, bye.